to, show how funny we were in front of our own people in our humor.
Yep.
So that's why it blew up.
Yep. I'm gonna jump around.
Go ahead.
I got a lot to talk about, right? So one thing that I'm really impressed about, and I read your whole book.
Thank you.
Carl gave it to me on Monday. I got through the whole thing, right?
You had to get that mug.
I got through it. So but at the height of entertainment and pop culture, you were in the mix.
Yes.
You were a staple on MTV and a VJ on MTV Jams and Beach House. What was that experience like?
Well, what most people don't realize is that I was just one black person that they chose, because you got to understand, MTV was so white. Like, I mean, the only black artist they played was Michael Jackson, and he was beige.
Super beige.
I think he just did a little something. Because he was my color when he started, remember? He went and got light just so he can get in there. So anyway, all jokes aside, so I think right place, timing is everything in life, and that's what my book is about. Like, being in the right place, making the right choices can determine your future, bad or good. You know what I'm saying? Hanging out with the wrong crowd, hanging out with the good crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So when I knew that I got to MTV, I wanted to represent every young black male in the world. Like, so it was important for me. I knew my job was important. I knew that a lot of brothers wouldn't get that shot. And my job, in my mind, was to be black, to represent black excellence, but also to help artists. Like, I wanted Boyz II Men, Jay, SWV, Snoop, Tupac. They wasn't getting no play.
Zero. Not on MTV.
What? So you got groups like, let me give you a perfect example. I'll give you somebody like, that was coming up at the time. I'll say SWV. I'll say, let's go TLC. TLC could have not sold 10 million albums without MTV. So you got to understand, at that moment in time, The Brat was the first female rapper to sell platinum. You could not make platinum records sales without MTV, because that was opening you up to the wider audience, right? Mm-hmm. Redman and Meth, like, think about it. They went on to do movies and everything. So MTV was their Def Jam. Mm-hmm. That was their springboard to get to pop culture. And it was wonderful because we was coming left and right. You got Outkast coming, you got Arrested Development. It was so many dope groups. Brandy was 16, Monica, 16. They were young.
The boy is mine.
Boom. Remember this? People forget Beyonce was in Destiny's Child. Y'all thinking about the Beehive now. She was in Destiny's Child. I interviewed Beyonce when she was like 15, 16. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, oh my God, these guys. It made me very proud, because it was so much color and so much culture coming to a new network, and they were receiving us, and we were selling records like crazy.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you're talking about that. The people who you interview, like, I don't know if y'all seen something. This man has interviewed a ton of people across the board.
Yes.
One interview that I looked at, and I was just like, he looked like he's nervous sitting there, right? You interviewed Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I was nervous.
You had to be.
Because you didn't see all that security staring at me behind the camera. Like, it was so funny, right? Because Michael Jackson's the first star that I met that, like, you felt like you was meeting like a diplomat or like a king or something, because he had all these security and all these people and publicists and all, like, it was like 35 people with one person, and he was small, like, you know what I mean? I'm looking at him like, you a little ass motherfucker right now. but he was dope, because as a child, I never thought I would ever meet Michael Jackson. I used to see Michael Jackson on TV, dancing with his brothers, doing rehearsals at Motown and stuff like that. Cut to, I'm talking to him, shaking his hand. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. But the reason why I was nervous was because they were so meticulous about the questions that you could ask Mike. Like, you see how you could just ask me, I didn't clear that.
Oh yeah, I got some things.
Michael Jackson would have cleared all that. We ain't doing page 4 also. So I had all these questions that I thought that real fans would want to know, and I had like my own personal questions and stuff. They chopped all that out. Boom. So I was like, ooh, I got 4. Okay. It was crazy.
And in the book you mentioned, you had a crush on somebody? Was it his little sister? You had a crush on Janet.
Yeah. She wanted me to, but I ain't want her brothers to be on me, you know what I mean? She got a lot of brothers.
She do.
The thing about Janet that I think was just really, really wonderful and just innocent was that, you know, we just had great chemistry, and she was so shy, and I feel like by me being funny and her knowing my personality, she became comfortable. And she was just loose with me. Like, you see another video, she'd be all whispery. And then she'd be like me, Bill, you're so stupid. You know, so I think that was my lucky charm, my personality. And then just like, I think people got comfortable knowing me, knowing my personality through my comedy, and then I'm on TV representing them. And everybody knew who was an artist at that time, that if Bill wasn't here, we wouldn't be here. Like that was understated, and it was understood that like this is an opportunity for us to blow up. Everybody that come on here, you know, after we run these videos in heavy rotation, you're gonna go from maybe gold to triple platinum overnight.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
I think I have read a statistic at the heyday of MTV. MTV was getting like 60 million views, and crazy. Easy.
If I had Instagram.
Oh, wait, don't talk about that yet. Okay. I got a question about that.
I'll get ready to tell you.
I got a question about that.
I'll be on 1 billion view followers.
Now, with that being said, I just kind of want you to let the people know, because you really paved the way. You really paved the way for black men, black women to really get into pop culture, right? And I don't think people really talk about that enough, the things that you did in order to, you know, how you was getting everybody to, they were selling millions and millions of records because they was on MTV. Just as a black man, how important being in that space, how important was that to the culture?
Well, it was groundbreaking for us. You know, like hip hop is only 50 years old. So you gotta understand, like, we weren't expected to blow up like that. Like, people thought that hip hop was this thing that was a fad that was just gonna kind of go away, and it was sort of like this thing we would do at a barbecue, or like maybe at a cool little club. It's not gonna become the dictator of fashion. It's not gonna be the dictator of what's cool. So when we got that exposure, our arms, like an octopus, we spread into different facets of American culture. Because black people, we just do our thing different. Like, let's be honest, the way we dress, the way we wear a hat, the way we listen to our music, the way we vibe to music, like, we got our own language, right?
100%.
So to me, I wanted that feeling to transfer across the world. Like, I wanted to be the person that said, I brought you Snoop Dogg at 19. I brought you Dr. Dre when he had the ankle bracelet on.
Ooh.
That was me.
Ooh.
You know, he the first brother I ever seen that was beeping. You can't go there. Beep, 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 beep. It's like, what's wrong with your ankle? I told about a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many funny moments in the culture that happened to me per se that I'm like, this is crazy, because I was just in the mix all the time.
In the mix.
You know, I'll be at a party and I'll see Tupac, or I'll be at a party and I'll see Madonna. Be like, Madonna, you hang out with black people? Yes. Like, hi, Madonna.
So it's interesting, right? Hey, I know in that interview with Michael Jackson, he had just got nominated for like 11 VMAs or something like that. I want to take a little shift, right? And I know you told this story, but I want the people to hear this story, right? Talk about and give them context as to why this was so crazy in the culture at that time. Diddy stole your girl.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, Diddy stole your girl.
Oh, my God.
But you got to give them the context as to what was happening with the whole rap culture and hip-hop culture at the time.
This is a great story. This is a great story. So it's like 95. I don't know where y'all was in 95, but you know there was an East Coast, West Coast thing going on, and it was brewing. It was getting bad. This is when Snoop did the video where he was stepping on top of New York. Did anybody remember this video? You remember? So it was in New York. It was tight. Cass was feeling some type of way. So Snoop is now with Death Row, and Tupac done went over there. But 3 weeks before that, he was in New York. But now he's on the West Coast, right? So they're coming to New York City the level of security at the VMAs in New York was stifling, right? They want to keep all the West Coast people over here, all the New York, and then in New York you got boroughs, you got Brooklyn, you got the Bronx, you got Queens, and they all in there with Timberlands, it's crazy. And so my goofy ass is kind of in the middle, like blended with everybody. And I had met this girl maybe a month prior that was like a supermodel. She was just beautiful. This sister was gorgeous, right? And when you first start getting money, the first thing you do is you just want to model. I don't know why that was like. As soon as you get somebody, you're like, I got to get me a supermodel. She was super bad too, right? So I'm thinking, I went to a fashion show, I met her, we had vibe, number, cool. I said, yo, I'm going to VMAs, you want to pull up with me? She was like, yes. Had the limo come pick her up, we go to this thing, and I'm like, I'm on the red carpet with her, we chilling, clack, 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 right? So now at the end of the VMAs, we used to do the after party, and the after party was at like Bryant Park. So just imagine you walk out of the VMAs and there's a huge park that's like totally turned into an after party, like outside, beautiful. And so you got Snoop and the West Coast cats way over there in that corner, and they got them roped off, and then you got different people roped off, right? So I'm about to go to my section, I got a fly little MTV table, whatever, and here come Puffy with like 30 dudes, right? So I'm like, at this time he was Puffy. I don't know what name his name, Gerard now?
Yeah, something like that. Jerome.
Change his name every week. Is he Love? What is
Yeah, he Love.
something like that. Danny, whatever. Back then he was Puffy. Okay, so this 95. So there go Puff.
Right.
Puff. Baby said the same thing. So listen. He rolls up on me and he's like, yo, B-Man, you know her? I'm like, yeah. Like, what's the problem? He was like, yo, we got a problem with her. Like that. And I'm like, right now? Because we on a date.
You trying to make this a
right. This is supposed to be a real situation for me. It's my first supermodel. This night is supposed to be lovely. Cut to, he's like beefing with this chick, right? They going back and forth, right? Wow. He was like, yo, you got my man Rob, right? And I was like, you rob people? I was like, I don't know if I want to be with a robber. She said, I ain't robbed him. I ain't robbed him. You got me messed up. I ain't robbed him. I don't know what had happened. He was like, when they said, what had happened? They know what happened.
They know what happened. They know what had happened.
And so he was like, yo, how the hell, they knew he was up there if it wasn't for you. Blah, 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 blah. Then it started to make a little weird sense to me. He was like, yo, my man better get his stuff back tonight. You got it tonight. And I was like, well, since you got other stuff to do tonight, I am going to go get me a cocktail. I haven't seen her since. I hope she's okay. Pray for her. It's a true story.
Pray for her. Oh man, hold on.
I'm just telling you a true story.
Oh man, see, I told you, I'm literally sitting next to a living like icon. Y'all clap it up for Bill Bellamy.
Thank you.
I don't know how much time I got, but I'm gonna sit here and talk. You talking?
I'm not gonna rush you.
Yeah, no, don't rush. You can. Cause I'm
in your zone right now.
Yeah, I'm in the zone. I told Bill when we was upstairs, like, when you sign my book, make sure you sign it Malcolm, King of all kings, right?
There we go. Jump out of here.
So I kind of want to make a little bit of a shift, right?
Go ahead.
Because, we live in 2023, right? Politics is just crazy in 2023, right? But back in 92, Rock the Boat was a big thing in 1992, right? You was right in the mix.
Yeah.
And in the book, you talked about how you learned a ton about politics around Rock the Vote, right? I just want to really, MTV got a lot of young people in the whole voting political process, right? Can you just kind of talk about how that shaped your perspective on politics? You also talked about policing in the book, and you also, I just want to, how does entertainment really influence politics?
Well, see, that whole question goes back to the power of hip hop, right? So you got to understand, people who ran the networks and saw the numbers, the analytics behind the scenes that we weren't seeing, we're seeing that we were very influential right? The
Before it was called influence.
Right. Now people are called influencers, but I'm saying we as a people are very influential, right? So they realized that in order to get new voters, they had to piggyback the music somehow, right? So they came up with Rock the Vote, using the word rock the vote as from the music, but bring that energy over to politics. So I never knew anything about politics as a kid. You know, I never knew who my councilman was. I rarely knew who the mayor was. I didn't know about senators and stuff like that. And so when I did this thing with MTV and they took me to DC, it was like literally learning a new language, because politics is completely different than everyday life, legislation, laws, different people, voting availability, like different the zoning, like it's so many levels to it that blew my mind, right? So I'm like, yo, I got a crash course in politics, and I said, wow, you know, we need to let black people know how much power they truly have, and you have to vote. Like, you got to understand, they don't want you to vote. People understand that voting is so powerful. I'm gonna give y'all this message. If voting wasn't necessary, why would they be blocking you? Right. Like, why would they make it difficult? You see what I'm saying? And so when I learned that early, I was like, oh my God, this is so dope, because you can vote on just in your city, voting on what's going on in your city. Cool. What laws, what things are gonna get passed in your immediate area? Then you go, what about in my state? Then what about the country? So there's levels to why you need to participate and you need to be informed. So when I learned that, I was like, yo, anything that I could do to influence young people to get interested. Because sometimes you can't be like, come on, man, vote. You know, man, I ain't got time on a Thursday. Right. But if you do it in a funny way, or if we're just talking about stuff, and you find out that people do have concerns, people are passionate, they might not know how. And so I think Rock the Vote was very influential. And also, if you want to piggyback, that's how President Barack Obama got elected. He did grassroots. So he did a Rock the Vote with his campaign the same way we did. Like
Vote or Die, right?
Oh my God, he had young people everywhere walking the street. Do you want the country to be different? He had $5, $2, whatever. And he had a grassroots sort of campaign, and that's how he had more votes than people could have met. Like, he raised so much money because he did it on the street level.
What did that mean to you? So you see, after everything that you've been through, everything that you've seen in your career, you see 2008, we got a black president, right? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to Bill Bellamy? What space were you in when you seen, yo, we got a black president after being through everything you've been through?
It was crazy. Like, to me, it was just like a moment of disbelief. I remember where I was when Barack Obama won the last state. Was his last state Ohio? Was it Ohio, right? So I'm in New York City. I'm getting emotional because it was so crazy, right? So I'll never forget, I was at this restaurant called Serafina. I'm like on probably like Broadway-ish in somewhere 60-something, whatever, right? And people were like, all he needs is 700 more votes. And it was counting like, it was crazy. You remember, it was counting down, boom, boom, boom. And then it was like, he won Ohio. People ran out in the street in New York. Like, people were crying, bro.
My grandma and grandpa were crying.
I never seen nothing like it. People were hugging people they didn't even know. It was a moment in life that I was happy to be alive, because it was pure love. It wasn't about necessarily like him just being the president. He brought the people together, and it was love, every color of the rainbow. People were like, oh my God, can you believe this? My grandmother would never believe it. Oh my God. It was a moment that people shared, and that's the beauty of the culture. Like, you know, thank God for a guy like him that came in this lifetime to show us that it is possible.
100%.
And that people do love our country, and that people do want good things. He was able to galvanize people, which is a blessing, right? And so to be a part of that, and that happened in our culture. I mean, I never forget when he played Stevie Wonder at the White House. Like, I was like, ooh, that's black. That's so black. Like, we need Stevie Wonder. Very superstitious.
Yo, what?
I mean, there were certain things that he did in his 8 years that was very much a part of the culture. And it was class, his family. It was Black excellence, and it was really wonderful to witness. And then for my kids only know a Black president, so they don't even know what I'm talking about. My son's first president was Black. He's like, Daddy, we ballin'.
My daughter was born in 2000.
I was like, do you understand that this never happened before? He's like, Daddy, I was born with a Black president. What are you talking about?
Yep. That's all he knows.
He already think Black people run every year. It's a true story.
And I want to tell y'all, he make a good point. Like, we so hyper focused on Donald Trump, Joe Biden, right? But y'all don't know your councilman, right? You don't know your state rep. Yeah. And those are the ones that really truly make the decisions for what's going on in your life.
Right now.
Right now.
Yes.
Right now. Vote local, y'all. Vote for your city councilman.
Just start, like, if I were to give anybody any advice, just start locally first. Like, just start getting informed on your city. Like, okay, you live here in Wilmington, what's going on? Okay, who's my councilman? Who's the mayor? You can call them. They work for you.
You can walk to the office.
You can walk to the offices. I do not like y'all delivering all this trash. I want it only on Thursday, and enough people vote, it can be switched to Thursday. Like, people don't realize the power that you truly have, but you just gotta get the information. You can go online, you can find out. I'll give you a perfect example. Like, one of the craziest things that happened in my community was people wanted speed bumps to slow down people, because kids were, right? So cars would be flying through the street, right? Enough people was hot, went and voted that we had speed bumps to slow down cars, so if a kid or something, cars are not coming down your street like a highway, and it got done.
That's the importance of local voting. It's extremely important.
Extremely.
I'm going to make another shift.
Go ahead. Keep shifting.
Yeah, we shifting.
Boy, he is shifting.
I'm shifting over here, right?
Boy, be shifting.
So what y'all, I don't know if y'all do or don't know, right? The term booty call. Y'all know who made that term?
On God.
On God. Booty call, right? So
y'all didn't even know what to call it till I came.
Nah, that's a fact.
They was like, I had a hookup.
Yeah, thank
I
God.
went by, slide
for the
through.
calls. Thank God for the booty calls.
I gave you the right term. Booty call.
I appreciate it.
How many booty calls you done made? $1 billion.
Woo!
I'm not asking the ladies.
Now with that being
booty call?
Ooh.
That's what women say. Is this too late?
If I'm calling you at 2 a.m.
Because women want to know what time the booty call kick off. Because if you call her at 8, that's a date. But if she come over around 11:30, 11:45.
Oh yeah.
Booty call. Get your time right, girl. Get by early.
So you got movies that shape the culture, man. You just did so much. You got Booty Call. You got one of my favorites, How to Be a Player, right? How to Be a Player. And then you got Any Given Sunday. You just got so many good movies. Just talk about the importance of your movies. I want to keep talking about culture because you mean a lot to the culture.
Well, it is the culture.
Yeah, it's the culture. How important was what you did in those movies for the culture?
Well, you got to understand, the 90s was probably one of the most explosive decades. One, two, okay. The 90s was an explosive decade on every level because you guys think the music blew up. We fashion blew up. Remember all the new black, we had Sean, John, FUBU, all these different
For us bias.
Think about that. Remember Fat Farm, and then we also, obviously politics too, but movies. They were making movies Menace to Society, Fridays, The Brothers, How to Be a Player, Don't Drink Your Minutes, whatever, Best Man. Think about you were seeing people that look like you. You know what I'm saying? And I was representing all the chocolate brothers like us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
Come on, B.
I appreciate it.
It's right there for you.
All you need is some long hair. You good.
If I had some long hair,
you might have
then I'd be a
beard.
Rasta man. but realistically, like I really wanted to represent us. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do different types of characters that I felt like represented guys in my neighborhood. Like, you know what I mean? When I was in the Brothers, I knew a guy like that. Like I knew that guy. You know what I mean? And then, you know, how to be a player. You know, part of that was me, and then as a part of, you know, some of that's like one of my uncles, you know. It's like that energy of having women or like women to Dre was like candy. You know what I'm saying? You like different types of candy, right? You don't always eat a Snickers or fish or you know.
Sometimes I want some Skittles.
Sometimes you want some Skittles.
Yeah, I want Reese's sometimes.
So, you know, doing How to Be a Player, I had to do the movie in such a way that women could watch it without being mad, but also to be like, is that what they do? Because women was in there with a notebook. I'm checking all pictures. I'm checking all drawers. You know, there was a couple little subtle things in there. So when you look back, you know, 20 years later, and you look at it, those movies still hold up.
100%.
You know what I mean? You can watch it over, like you watch Love Jones, you can see it 20 times.
Oh, speaking of Love Jones, I have a personal request.
What happened? What?
You probably could FaceTime Nia Long right now.
And you will black out.
Oh, what? What? Yep, that would be me. The Nia Long. That's how it's
yeah.
But even Love Jones is an iconic movie, right?
Yeah.
When you film Love Jones, what was memorable from when you filmed Love Jones?
Well, that was my first dramatic role to me, because I had been doing all this fun, like kind of like, you know, charming kind of roles, and I was like, yo, this is a real role. And Ted Witcher was like, B, I seen you do stand up, I seen you do funny, but can you just be serious, you know? Because Hollywood is like a real dude, and he's like this guy who's kind of envious of his friends, but he don't want to say that. I said, oh, I know a lot of people that play a hater. I could be a hater. And so
you did a good job.
So I thought about Hollywood as a character. Like, people don't realize what you do as an actor. Like, I always pick a feeling. Like, Hollywood was envy, and envy is like it's under the surface. Like, I might be envious of you, but I'm gonna hang out with you. But I ain't got your swag, or you know, your parent, you got both your mom and dad, or blah blah blah. I'll be around you all day, but I'll be lightweight hate, jealous, right? So I use that energy in that character because people know dudes like that. That's why people remember me in the movie, because they be like, ugh, he stank, you know? But that's real life, though. People are like that. They want your girl. They want what you have. They don't have your talent, but they want it. So when I go back and I look at that movie, I'm proud of myself because I felt like that was my first time performing with real actors. They don't do other stuff. They ain't on MTV. They don't do stand-up comedy shows. They go to class as actors. And I felt like I held my own. I'm like, yo, man, these dudes are real. You know what I mean? Lorenz Tate's real. Nia Long, Lisa Nicole Carson, like that cast was bananas. Do y'all remember the scene when the girls was in the, that's my favorite scene, comedic, when Nia Long and Lisa Nicole Carson are in the cab and they talk about the sex. and she said, what did it say? You know, that was, to me, that was like, that was so funny to me. What did it say?
Such a good movie.
It was like a snapshot of guys getting to see what girls talk about. You see what I'm saying? It was very cute.
Carl, how much time I got? I can keep rolling?
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, 5 minutes.
Come on, I gotta sign books, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
People
gotta sign
came
books.
here, bro.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta sign books.
He think it's a TV show, don't he?
Yeah. You gotta sign books. We had to have a part two.
It's a beautiful library, by the way. Give it up for the library.
Shout out to the library. Shout out to all of y'all. Thank you so much. In the middle of the afternoon, y'all pulled up, right? So, man, I got so many questions to ask you. All right, so. I got 2 more questions. So, stand-up comedy, man, you've been doing stand-up comedy for a long time. You got Red Fox, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Martin, Dave Chappelle, Bernie Mac, all the names, Kevin Hart. Where does Bill Bellamy sit?
I feel like I am top 5. Now, let me tell you why, because people might say, Bill, that's crazy. I feel like I'm top 5 because of longevity, and then on top of that, I feel like real people that love real comedy know it. Like, you know what I mean? It might not be like, you know, people will say Kevin Hart, you know, Chris Rock, you're gonna say all these names. But if you really, really be in the trenches and you study comedy and you see my stuff, stop playing.
Word.
Stop playing. I'll put my stand up against anybody. I feel comfortable. I'm like, if you can top that, come see me. They can't. That's why they don't want the smoke. I'll be in the trenches with it. Like, I love comedy. You know, there's obviously a fun competitiveness to it. Like, we all compete to be the best, right? It's like hooping. You know, you want to be the best guard, you want to be the best dude out your city. I feel like I'm the best at what I do. I ain't trying to compete necessarily with Dave or Kev or Kat. These are all my dudes. I love them. You know, right. Corey Holcomb. You know what I mean?
So funny.
These guys are all got their own swag. They got their own energy. Like, that's dope. That's what we're artists. Mm-hmm. So I get to be funny my way. You get to be funny your way, and we all laugh. You feel me? Mm-hmm. That's what it's about.
I got some controversial questions now.
Go. In the library, you going?
In the library.
Boy, the devil's so busy.
He is. All right, y'all. This is a controversial one right here, right?
Go.
Grits, sugar or salt?
Sugar. No. Wait. It depends on how poor you was. Wait, listen. It depends on how poor you were. Let me tell you why. Because I go both ways, okay? Salt, butter, right? Mm-hmm. Eggs, boom, right?
Only way.
But if you have it by itself, a little bit of sugar. No. I'm just saying, you know black people love sugar.
Ain't bad. I ain't put no sugar.
I'm not gonna just eat grits. I'm not gonna eat grits with salt and butter by itself, but it's a snack. You put some sugar. You might not have no eggs. You might not have. Sometimes my mama ain't had no eggs. We would have cream of wheat.
That's what you gotta put sugar in.
Put a little sugar and a little bit of butter, and that's your breakfast. Now, when we had extra money, get that salt. I'm with you. And then if you got money, you get the cheese in there. Ooh, come on, man.
A little cheese.
You better stop playing with me.
Ooh, I love
I
that.
got one for you. You wanna go hood? Like, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is hood, but y'all gonna go down a minute. Do you go Flaco or Jiffy?
Ooh.
Flaco or Jiffy cornbread?
Jiffy. I gotta go.
Thank you. Team Jiffy. Make some noise. Ain't nobody messing with no damn Flaco.
Gotta go Jiffy.
What? You got some Jiffy and some butter? I'm about to get the Holy Ghost in here. She jumping.
Look.
I feel you, sis. I'm with you.
Look, before he answered these questions, before he signed these books. All right, listen, I got another one.
Go.
Fresh Prince of Martin.
Ooh.
Oh, where the cameras? The camera's rolling. The camera's rolling.
I gotta go Martin. Martin was the best sitcom for the culture. Like, to me, I think Martin's style of humor, all the characters he played, he was phenomenal. Like he was must see.
Yeah.
This is when black people was coming to work the next day. Did you see Martin last night?
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I think Martin just kind of got a little bit more sauce.
Piggybacking right off of that.
Go.
Family Matters, The Cosby Show.
Cosby.
I was more, my age group is Family Matters.
Family Matters was cool,
My age group is Family
but he ain't have nothing on the Huxtables. Huxtables was out. Everybody want to have a father like that with them sweaters. I used to say to my daddy, why you ain't got no sweaters? I remember saying, when I get rich, I'm gonna get me a sweater. Because then they look rich. It looks so rich to have a nice sweater. I don't know why.
All right, two more, and then we're gonna move on.
Okay.
Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Kobe Bryant?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. I don't even want to go down that road. We're going to split the goddamn library in half. Just go with the GOAT, Michael Jordan, done.
Okay, I like that. All right, this is my last one. We're going to wrap it up. If these artists were on teams, who would you pick? Notorious B.I.G. and Jay-Z versus Tupac and Nas. Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Ooh, I gotta go with Big and Jay. We're Brooklyn. I just love Big, man. Can I tell y'all a funny Biggie Small story? So, this is right after Biggie had a car crash. You know, he had got hurt. He was walking with a cane. I don't know if y'all remember he was walking with a cane, but he was moving around. He was doing shows with the cane at the time. So I am in Lake Havasu. It is 93 or 4. We're doing spring break. And this is the first time I've ever been to Arizona. And what they do is, it's like they tie off all the boats. Like, it's like kind of like a mountains with a lake in it, and the boats get in there and they tie off. It's like 60 boats, so you could just walk from boat to boat to boat to boat, right? So they had these pods in the water, like, so there'd be one stage here, and Biggie couldn't swim.
Ooh. I mean,
but see, the pod would be moving a little bit. Dang.
He was like, "Bud, I couldn't swim, bud." He was like, "Yo, man, somebody got to check that thing out. Because if I fall in that water, I'm done."
I'm like, he was worried because I guess when you can't swim, you just think about the other stuff. Everybody was performing naughty by nature. Big saw that.
He was bad. I don't know.
True story.
So we're gonna wrap this up. Talk about the book.
So this is my memoir, which is really an interesting journey of my life, but also it's a lot of great moments that you will remember. Like I just told you, like you gonna remember where you was 92, 94, whatever. There's a lot of great moments in the culture that you will go, wow, that's right. And then also I went through some tough times. You know, I lost a lot of family members and had some setbacks and this, that, and the other, but then God blessed me another way, you know what I mean? So it's all about perseverance, it's about your faith, and it's about believing in yourself without other people. Stop waiting on other people to believe in you.
Yep.
Just you start, they'll believe later. They'll be your biggest fans later, because everybody be like, I'm about to be an electrician. You don't know nothing about electricity. I'm about to find out. You see what I'm saying? So the book is definitely a good journey, and I want to thank y'all for supporting me today, coming out here and really getting a vibe for me. I have to do another show here. I love it. Absolutely. I'm like, I gotta give Delaware a shout out. Hell yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Bellamy.
Thank you.
Get your book. You got a comedy show tonight, right?
Yeah, I'm doing something for HBCU.
Shout out to HBCU Week.
Yes,
Let's go.
And so we're doing a show tonight at the Queen.
Yes, sir.
Is the Queen Theater?
Yes, it's the Queen.
Yeah, so tonight I'll be at the Queen.
Yep.
I'm gonna be dressed so fly. I just came in here like I was baby Kobe, you know. Tonight we're gonna have a good time. Thank you, guys.